Hello and welcome to another video. It's Ultimate19 or Ultimate Gamer 19,000, and I'm here today to show you all how to build the cursed smiter. Now, before this video starts, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Baldur's Gate 3 or D&D 5e build, review, and overall guide videos. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So the whole premise of this build is you're going to be taking some Paladin levels, some Warlock levels, and then Wizard levels? We'll leave the Wizard levels at the end of it all. But basically, the main synergy here is with the Paladin, we have smites that use spell slots. With the Warlock, we have spell slots that recharge on a short rest, meaning we get to do some pretty high damage smites. And also, the highest a smite can do damage wise is for 3rd level spell slot. And with this build, we can get that 5th level of Warlock, but still get those really good 6 levels of Paladin. So yeah, overall, let's just kind of go into a deeper breakdown of this build. I am actually using this build in one of my personal playthroughs, but I am building it with a long sword and shield rather than a great sword. Now, by all means, this build will work with a great sword, but actually there's some really not niche, but there's some really good like examples of this build working really good with a long sword instead. So now our for our first level, we will be taking we'll be taking paladin for our first level. And I've stepped on my words there. But yeah, the reason why is because paladins get heavy armor proficiency at level 1. And heavy armor is extraordinarily powerful, and we will be using heavy armor for this build. There are multitudes of heavy armor you can pick from. The armor persistence and Raphael's armor are my personal picks. Now, on my level 1 paladin, we also do get our lay on hands in our channel divinity or channel oath. And I like channel divinity much more, but that's just me. So now we also get to choose a subclass which gives us a channel oath feature. Originally, I planned on doing a devotion paladin build for my playthrough, but after playing with it, I broke my oath over 4 times without even leaving Act 1. And I am on what I would consider a lawful good playthrough. I am in a lawful good playthrough and I've broken my oath. Well, chaotic. We'll say chaotic good. And I've broken my oath 4 times playing Devotion. So, if you want to play Devotion, there's actually a feature we get down the line that has really amazing synergy. But if you're like me and are sick and tired of giving the Oathbreaker Knight all their money, just go Vengeance Paladin, or even Oath of the Ancients, or heck, screw it, Oathbreaker if you feel like it. But my personal recommendations are Devotion and or Vengeance. With Vengeance, I feel like I already played so many Vengeance Paladins. I was like, oh, like another one. But again, it's more I would probably like, if Devotion had the same amount of like, if you couldn't break your oath with Devotion, I probably, I don't know if I would stick to it, because Devotion has some really good benefits, but also some ones that really kind of make your head turn. Now at level 2, we get Divine Smite, which is the main reason we're here playing a Paladin. If you don't know, we can waste a spell slot to deal some radiant damage equal to the spell slot. The maximum damage we can do is 5d8 with a 3rd level spell slot, 68 if it's against an undead. Now, at our level 2, we also get a Fighting Style and some spell casting. For Fighting Style, I'll be picking Dual Link because I use Longsword, but if you're using a Great Sword, pick Defense by all means. Now, we also do get some spell slots. Personally, I found myself using, what is it? What? Okay, it's not here. What? Okay, I personally found myself using Sanctuary a lot when I was when I was playing. I would mostly just run up to an enemy's, just unload, or if I couldn't get to, I remember when I was fighting Joragdon, spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3, of course. I went up to him, couldn't reach him, so I just casted Sanctuary myself, and I was basically just free from getting absolutely pummeled in by him. So, but again, not everyone has Sanctuary. For your Oath of Vengeance, you don't gain Hunter's Mark and Bane, which, I mean, Hunter's Mark can be useful, but I usually just forget to turn it on most fights. Stuff like Bless is probably better to be left off by your Cleric. Thunderous and Steering Smite can be good for Nova damage, but we can actually get Smites in another way, which I will be going over later. At level 3, we get our main subclass features. We also get Divine Health, which Basically, just prevents diseases from affecting us. I don't think there's a single disease in Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know. I haven't ran into any. Or if I have, they're just not really important. I think there is like one, maybe. I don't. Oh wait, yeah, I think there's like one, but you don't really find it too much. Now, if you're an Oath of Devotion paladin, such as I was, you get Sacred Weapon and Turn the Unholy. Turn the Unholy is basically just turn undead. So we can just kind of forget about that one. But Sacred Weapon is really the big one here. Now, it allows us to use our Charisma modifier and add it to attacks and damage rolls made with the weapon, except for the fact it's cost the whole action. Now, I do understand that some people might precast this before getting into a fight. I didn't always have the opportunities to precast in this since I was using Far Aloof, and it was pretty hard to always just consistently precast that and this. I usually just forgot about one or the other. And most of the times I was forgetting about Sacred Weapon. So overall, that's kind of why I switched to Vengeance Paladin. Valve enemy, if you don't know, basically if you cast it on yourself, you gain advantage on every single attack roll against anyone. It's extremely broken, and one of the main reasons why Oath of Vengeance is the best subclass. Now, if you're doing the whole Great Weapon Master version of this build, I probably would recommend Oath of Vengeance simply because the Valve enemy is just way too good. Now, level 4, we gain a feat. I'll be taking a +2 to Charisma. I'm assuming you have a 17 in Charisma, so I would recommend just taking a +2 to Charisma with your feat. Now, for this build, I probably should mention this later, but I will be recommending you take Elixirs of Hill Giant Strength. Now, before you get mad, I know some people don't like them. If you don't like Elixirs of Hill Giant Strength, don't worry, because later on in this build we will be getting rid of them. So don't worry about it. It's a temporary thing. Now, at level 5, you gain extra attack and second level spell slots. Again, I have not used a single one of these second level spells in any of my playthroughs, because overall, it's just you usually have a cleric that can cast aid, and also I don't think your paladin should be casting aid on the party. Now, Hold Person and Misty Step, I've been using those with quite big efficiency in my playthrough. Misty Step is good because it's just a free teleport bonus action, and Hold Person can be really powerful, especially when you get a certain rank in Act, I think 2 or 3, that can be really useful. But I've never really gotten that rank in any of my playthroughs. I actually made it a note to get in the one I'm currently doing. So it just goes to show you don't have to use Hold Person on this build and still be powerful. At level 6, we get Aura of Protection, basically allowing you and your allies to gain your Charisma modifier to all of their saving throws. This is pretty massive because that 10 Wisdom you most likely will have, it's not going to be turned, your Wisdom saving throw, because you're proficient, it's probably going to be like a +9 or something really high. Overall, it's a pretty damn useful feature and definitely is extraordinarily nice, especially later game fault of mind flares. You usually want to dump intelligence, so not having to dump it is pretty damn nice. But next we get Warlock. Now we'll enter our Warlock levels. Our Warlock level 1, we get one Warlock spell slot. It's a first level spell slot that basically just comes back on a short rest. Oh my bad. Basically, this just allows us to smite at least once per short rest, which is pretty damn valuable, especially like in Act 2 or 3. Now, we also do gain Eldritch Blast and Friends, which are the two cantrips I would pick. Very powerful cantrips and overall pretty good uses. Next, we got Fast Fills. I would recommend taking Armor of Agathis and probably pick your favorite. Armor of Agdis overall is a really good spell because allowing me to get some decent temporary hit points that can deal some damage against an enemy is extremely nice. Next, for our patron, I usually just like to take the Fiend patron just to get a consistent supply of temporary hit points. I know some people like the Great Old One. Honestly, pick your favorite. I probably will pick the Fiend, but I could also see why you would pick Gulak if you want to. Now at level 2 we get to pick some Eldritch Invocations. Here I usually just take Devil Sight and Agonizing Blast. Agonizing Blast, because being able to add our Charisma modifier to all of our Eldritch Blasts is just super nice. And also, in my build, I took Ontieto's hair and I absorbed it to increase my Charisma to 20. You don't have to do that, but I would recommend doing it because it really helps this build. But if you don't, then don't. It doesn't really matter. Now we gain an additional Warlock spell slot, allowing us to smite twice for short rest, which is a pretty massive boost to our damage. At level 3, we get Pact of the Blade, allowing us to use Charisma as our main attacking modifier. Meaning, you can stop taking those elixirs of Heal Giant Strength and take whatever other elixir you want. Heroism, Bloodlust, of Resistance, whatever elixirs you want. Once you get Pact of the Blade, you can now use them freely, and yeah, so please do so. And also at level 3, we get improved Warlock pack slots. So now twice per short rest, we can do second level Divine Smites, which is pretty nice. Also, we can get second level spells. So you can get Mirror Image, Cloud of Daggers, Darkness. You could do like a Darkness Devil Sight type of thing. We are taking Devil Sight, but mostly because of the House of Hope. Nice, not the House of Hope, it's the House of Grief. Whatever. Where you have to go with Shadowheart in Act 3. That place with darkness is disgustingly terrible if you don't have Devil Sight. So just having it on this character because we can take it is pretty damn massive and a must do in my opinion. Also, we get Blindness and Scorching Ray if we take Faint, or Detect Thoughts and Phantasmal Force if we take Great Old One. At level 4, we gain a feat. Now, personally, here I would probably recommend to max out your charisma if you haven't already. But feat wise, honestly, this is kind of more of a pick your favorites. You could take Shield Master, you could take Tough. I don't know what other feats. Lucky, heck, if you want to, you can take Lucky, Tough, or increase your charisma here. Honestly, that's up to you. I probably in my playthrough probably will take Lucky or Tough because I just do love having a bunch of HP. But this build's armor class will also be decently high, so honestly, pick your favorite. And then at level 5, this is going to be the final Warlock level we'll be taking. Our Pact of the Blade now gains us the extra attack feature. Now, when you are asking this, if you're not using this but in honor mode, it's significantly better because the Pact of the Blade extra attack actually scales with the Paladin's extra attack outside of honor mode, meaning you get 3 attacks all of your turns. And all of those attacks can be smites, and 2 of them can be 3rd level smites. Because yes, at 5th level Warlock, our pack slots increase to 3rd level ones. So now twice per short rest, we can deal out 2 3rd level smites, which is extremely powerful considering we're attacking 3 times per turn. And also for 3rd level spells, we get Fireball and Stink Clown if we take Fiend, or Slow and Bestow Curse if we take Great Old One. Some other good picks are Hunger of Hadar or Hunger of Dar, Hypnotic Pattern, Counterspell, and that's about it. Those are really good ones. Now, here's kind of when it's up to you. If you want to, you could take the 6th level into Warlock to get Dark One's Own Luck or Entropic Ward. But personally, I would honestly recommend either taking a Sorcerer or a Wizard level. I have Wizard put up for the simple reason we get Arcane Recovery and we get some pretty good ritual spell casting, which is nice. Now, most likely, you probably dumped your intelligence, so you'll probably only be able to have one of these spells active. But honestly, I think Arcane Recovery is more than enough of reason to kind of just take an extra, to take Wizard. Now, if you want to, take Sorcerer, and probably that will work better for you. But honestly, Wizard can and probably does work with this build. Now, if you want to, you could take Headband of Intellect, which would extremely cripple you. Not extremely, but definitely cripple you a little bit. So overall, I'd probably just recommend taking that one Wizard level. Take Arcane Recovery and get Shield. I mean, Shield's probably going to be the main spell you are casting. I guess if you want to, you could have Fighter Fall and Find Familiar as your spells that you have prepared, if you do want them. Now, for our race for this build, I know this is a little late, but I didn't have it put up. We will be picking Tiefling, specifically the Zariel Tiefling. Now, if you don't know what Zariel Tieflings are, basically, in my opinion, they're probably the best Tieflings when it comes to mainly damage focused characters. Now, we will be using a longsword with this build, meaning our damage is going to be significantly lower than any Great Weapon Master garbage. Now, one of the main ways to increase this is by you taking Zariel Tiefling, because we get Searing Smite and Branding Smite for free. We can cast them once per long rest completely for free, and can really add extra damage in those pivotal moments where you need to kill an enemy quickly. Also, branding smite and searing smite have pretty decent utility, especially branding smite. When you get to those pesky invisibility users, hit them with a branding smite and boom, no more invisibility you have to worry about. And next, we have for our armor, do I not have the armor put up? Oh, okay, I don't. Okay, well, not for our weapon. I'll get into the armor later. We have Voss's Silver Sword. This is gonna be our main long sword. We get this in basically Act Two. I'm not gonna lie to you. We basically get this in Act Two, and the easiest way to get this in Act One, basically right before Act Two, is by killing Kithrak Voss. Now, I do understand some players may not like that idea, but the thing is, killing Kithrak Voss really doesn't add very much. Now, you do lose on a companion to help you in your final battle against the Elder Brain, but aside from that, you can still get his great sword. The one that Githyanki is really good if you just drop it from him, and also just because you kill Voss does not mean you have to. You doesn't mean Lae'zel has to become a Blackith worshiper. She can still very easily go down the path of of the comet. Literally forgot his name. She can still easily go down his path. So just because you kill Voss doesn't mean you have to completely just make Lae'zel Vlaakith worshiper. She can still worship the other guy. I completely forgot his name. It's left me. But yeah, overall, aside from that, this longsword is a +2 very rare longsword that deals an additional 1d4 psychic damage on every hit. Now, if you hit a Githyanki, Aberration, Fiend, or Elemental, you deal an additional d4. So basically, you get 2d4 if you're attacking one of those said guys. And also, like the race we're choosing, this gives us a once per long rest use of Wrathful Smite, allowing us again to just buff our damage even more. Meaning, we have, once per long rest, we have 3 different smites we can dish out with a bonus action to get some additional damage up. Also, this weapon is just pretty nice because it looks decently cool. Now, another weapon I forgot to pull up here, so let me just pull it up real quick, is the Drake Throat Glaive. Now, for those who don't know what it does, the Drake Throat Glaive is probably something you may have seen in this channel before, because I think I have used it before. But if you don't know, it's probably one of my favorite weapons purely because of Draconic Elemental Weapon. It counts as a threat level spell, but it doesn't really matter. Basically, what you can do, you can pick from either acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage, and infuse that into any weapon of your choice. Now, the weapon deals an additional d4 of damage and has a +1 to attack rolls and damage rolls. This basically just supercharges your weapon, and also, if you're like me and are a sucker for swords encased in lightning or fire, then this weapon looks extremely cool. Now, this also does work with Meta Magic Twin Spell if you do care for that. But the simplest way to kind of get this thing up, if you are questioning it, is by either equipping this on one of your other characters and have them cast this on you, or throw your weapon on the floor. Use your Draconic Elemental Weapon ability on the weapon on the floor, and it still will carry over. Now, finally, for armor, I think we can all probably assume which armor we're gonna use. We've all played this game before. Hell Dusk and Armor Persistence. Extremely powerful armors. This gives you resistance to basically the most common damage types and reduces by 2. This one, honestly, when you succeed on a saving throw, the caster gets burning for 3 turns, and you have resistance to fire damage and are immune to burn. And also, you can take the fly spell if you really want to. And also, little fun fact: this can be taken in Act One, allowing you to just have a really good heavy armor for basically the whole game. And in my build, I do plan on beating up Raphael, not killing him, of course, and taking his armor. Next, for our shields, because this is a sword and shield build, I personally started off with the safeguard shield because it's pretty good. At +1 to saving throws is just nice, and also you can find it in the Druid Grove. So really early Act 1. Next week, I switch over to the Adamantine shield to get really nice uses of reeling and shield blow, and also being immune to crits is a lifesaver. But then you probably would move on to the Shield of Devotion, giving you a free casting of 8 as a 3rd level spell, so basically 10 hit points permanently, and an additional 1st level slot, which means an additional smite. And finally, the final shield you probably will use if you don't want to stick to that one is Vicona's Walking Fortress. This shield gives you so much stuff. First of all, it gives you a +3 to armor class instead of a +2. You have advantage on saving throws against spells. Spell attack rolls against you have disadvantage. Rebuke the Mighty. When you hit a foe with melee attack, you can use a reaction to deal an additional. Is this 2d4 force damage? I feel like it is, right? Is it 2d4? I think it is 2d4 force damage because it's 2 to 8, which is just not. And also, you can knock them prone unless they see it on the dexterity saving throw. Oh, it's when a foe hits you with an attack, not the other way around. You also have Reflective Shield, which you can cast once per short rest, which does this. Projectile target at this creature are reflected back to their point of origin. If you know you're going to go up against a bunch of people that like to sling spells, then this would be really powerful. And then finally, you can cast Warding Bond once per long rest, which if you don't know, you gain resist. You can ward an ally, and they gain resistance to all damage, and a +1 to the armor class and saving throws, which is nice. But you do take half of that damage at the same time, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, aside from that, that's kind of today's build. If you guys did enjoy this build, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any tips or tricks for this build because you've played it before, make sure to also leave that down below. But yeah, that's all from your boy, OT19, signing out. Peace.